Hello and welcome back to Green Hill Gaming, where I share my passion of video games with the whole wide world. In this video discussion, I will be discussing the Apple iPhone 15 Pro and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So sit back, relax, but as always, and more importantly, enjoy the video. And please, in the comment section below, let me know what you lovely people think of the Apple iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. I would love to hear what you think. I'm going to read an article from TheVerge.com about the Apple iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. So, Apple iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max announced with titanium bodies and action button. They are apparently the strongest, fastest and proest iPhones ever. And that USB-C port might change the way people think about their smartphone camera. Apple just announced its new high-end iPhones, the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. They are made of titanium. They have action buttons, and Apple promises they're the most powerful smartphones Apple has ever made. The 15 Pro starts at $999 with 128 gigabytes of storage, and the Pro Max at $1,199 with 256 gigabytes of storage. Both will be available for pre-order this Friday and on sale September 22nd. This year's Pro has a 6.1 inch screen and the Pro Max has a 6.7 inch display, same as the new iPhone 15 and 15 Plus. Both are powered by the A17 Pro chip, which Apple says has the fastest performance in any smartphone and can even challenge some high-end PCs. Along with a redesigned GPU, Apple seems to think these devices could be poised to level up the kinds of games you can play on your phone. And in brackets, The Verge say, of course, Apple likes to talk a lot about high-end gaming, and the results don't always keep up. Both phones, of course, have a USB-C port on the bottom rather than the old Lightning port. But in the Pro's case, it could be for more than charging. Apple says the 15 Pro is the first phone with 10 Gbps transfer speeds, which will make getting photos and videos or large files of any kind off your phone vastly easier. All that power is inside a new, stronger enclosure, which Apple promises is some of the toughest stuff you'll find on a phone anywhere in the industry. Just based on what we're seeing in the video so far, it doesn't look hugely different, but it's a big change nonetheless. The new devices come in white, black, blue, and natural colors. And naturally, Apple is extremely proud of the complex engineering behind the process. The action button, which replaces the ringer switch on the left side of the iPhone Pro, is a new button that you can customize to run shortcuts, bring up accessibility features, open the camera, turn on the flashlight, and more. By default, it's still a ringer switch, but you're going to want to use it to do more. The Pros both have Super Retina XDR displays with Pro Motion and support both the always-on display and the new standby mode in iOS 17. Greg, Apple's marketing chief, promised that the 15 Pro and Pro Max have Apple's best cameras yet, the equivalent of 7 distinct lenses. That includes an upgraded 48 megapixel camera that supposedly takes better low light photos, captures less lens flare, and uses Apple's AI system to take full res HEIF photos. You can now change your default lens and shoot at multiple focal lengths, 24mm, 28mm and 35mm within the main camera. You can also get up to 5 times optical zoom, the most Apple has ever offered, to 120 mm focal length. Fans of Samsung's latest cameras won't be blown away by the specs here, obviously, but they're a big upgrade from iPhone users. On the video side, you'll be able to shoot 4K 60 ProRes video on the devices, or even shoot directly to an external device through the USB-C port, as long as you have the right cable. The 15 Pro can capture spatial video too, the kinds of 3D content we've been seeing for the Vision Pro. Though that feature is coming later this year, it's clear that Apple imagines the 15 Pro as both a consumer device but also a genuine professional tool for the creators and filmmakers of the world. Apple CEO Tim Cook introduced the newest devices at Apple's Wanderlust event at Apple Park in California. Though the rumor mill has, as always, been going for months. In terms of how you'll actually use your iPhone, some of the largest changes this year will be the iOS 17, the new standby mode, could change the way you use your phone when it's off. Interactive widgets could redesign a lot of home screens, and features like live voicemail and contact posters might have you actually making phone calls every now and again. Apple followed roughly the same rubric it has for the last few iPhone launches. The base models get the stuff from last year's Pro, like the dynamic island and some of the camera tech, even the A16 Bionic chip, and the Pros are the guinea pig for Apple's big new ideas. This year, while Apple may not have talked much about USB-C itself, the new port seems to have given Apple new ideas about how you might capture data on the Pro phones and then use it elsewhere. Nobody needs 48 megapixel photos for Instagram, but now it's much easier to use those huge photos everywhere. Joss Wick called the new Pro lineup our best and most pro iPhone ever, and he's not wrong. While the 15 models improve the everyday experience of using an iPhone, the new Pro seems to be heading somewhere else entirely. And that is the end of the article. So now I want to share my brief thoughts. No, I say brief, but anyone who knows me, well, sometimes brief might mean long. Or sometimes brief might mean long. Nonetheless, I'm now going to share my brief thoughts on the Apple iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, and what all this means to me. And again, please, in the comment section below, let me know what you think of the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. Will you be buying these devices? If so, which version will you be getting? Will you be getting the Pro or the Pro Max? How do you feel about these devices? So in general, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please, I would love to hear from you. Okay, I want to start by saying how absolutely amazing it is to see how far mobile phone technology has come over the years. And I say over the years, literally like just over 2 decades. You know, especially when it comes to mobile phone gaming. So to see how mobile phone technology has advanced in such a short period of time is absolutely mind-blowing. I remember, like many other people, playing Snake on Nokia phones a little over 20 years ago. So you can understand just how cool it is to compare Snake on Nokia phones to Death Stranding on Apple phones. Because yes, you will be able to play Death Stranding on the Apple iPhone Pro. And that is insane. Snake to Death Stranding. Whoa. Whoa. I just want to touch upon that a little bit more. It's just, I can't find the words. I actually can't find the words. I know you're probably thinking you just said the words, but I feel I can't justify enough just how far mobile phone technology has come over the years. Over a short period of time, in fact. Mobile phone technology is actually advancing quicker than PC technology, computer technology, console technology. Again, we have went from Snake on mobile phones to Death Stranding on mobile phones. In a quicker time period than going from like Pac-Man to Death Stranding. Like Pac-Man came out in what? That came out in like it was it was late 70s, wasn't it? Pac-Man. Late 70s, early 80s, right? Whereas Snake on Nokia phones came out in like late 90s. So what I'm saying is mobile phone technology, especially when it comes to mobile phone gaming technology, is advancing much quicker than computer and console technology is. And that is mind-blowing. I'm probably like a dog with a bone on this point, but I'll just say it again. It's mind-blowing to see how far mobile phone technology, especially mobile phone gaming, has come over the years. Snake on Nokia phones to Death Stranding on Apple phones. Whoa. In just over 20 years. Whoa. That's mind-blowing. So I wanted to start sharing my thoughts on these devices, the Apple iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, with that point. Now, I mentioned Death Stranding, playable on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. Yes, Death Stranding is playable on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max on a mobile phone. Again, that's crazy. Now, I mentioned that I played, like many other people have, Snake on Nokia phones. I have played games on mobile phones. However, I don't play much, if any, games on mobile phones these days. I spend a lot of time, again like many others did, in the 90s, and late 90s and early 2000s. I played a lot of Snake. A lot of Snake. I would drain my battery on my Nokia, and as we all know, the Nokia had a fantastic battery, but I would drain my battery from playing so much Snake on my Nokia. But once I got home, and once I turned on my console, be it the Nintendo 64, PS1, PS2, I would get stuck into playing Mario 64, Final Fantasy 16, Grand Theft Auto 3, whatever the game may be. And Snake would remain in my Nokia, in my pocket, because I'm not the kind of gamer who likes to play games on his phone. I like to play my games on a console or on a handheld. I would have had the Game Boy Advance kind of maybe around the time of, Snake. So I would be playing Spyro the Dragon on Game Boy Advance. Love that game actually on Game Boy Advance. So I play my games on a console or a handheld. I hardly ever play mobile games. In recent years, I have tried out the likes of Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, and Sonic the Hedgehog on smartphones. I've played Fire Emblem, Animal Crossing, Pikmin, Pokemon on smartphones. But my attention span with those games was very, very, very low. Extremely, extremely low. I've put over 400, possibly even 500 hours into Tears of the Kingdom, a game that came out in just came out just came out in May. We're now in September. I would say I have the most hours I put into a mobile phone game would possibly be under 2 hours total time. Not every mobile game, just like in one particular game. I probably would spend probably around 2 hours. Pokemon Go, I did, like many other people did, put a lot of hours into. But in general, my total play time for a mobile phone game would be well under 2 hours. So I don't have a high attention span when it comes to playing mobile phone games. I hardly ever play mobile phone games. As a gamer, I play my games on console and handheld. Now, I mentioned games like Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, and even Sonic on smartphone. I remember when those games came to smartphone, I was blown away. I bought my first smartphone. I actually spent a lot of money on my first smartphone. It was a smartphone Galaxy S6, I think, or else it was the S5. I spent €600 on this phone. I tapped into my savings and I bought this phone. I regret that so much. I really regret that so much. But I remember going through the Google Play Store. I think it was called the Google Play Store at that time. And I remember saying, whoa, Grand Theft Auto 3. Naturally, I downloaded it because the thought of having Grand Theft Auto 3 in my hands, in my pocket at that time. This was before the GTA Defective, as Chad Middleton calls it, the GTA Defective Trilogy Edition, whatever the hell it's called, came to Switch. So this was before like you could play, Grand Theft Auto 3 on a traditional handheld console. So the thought blew my mind. So I downloaded it naturally, and I booted it up, and it was crazy to see Grand Theft Auto 3 running on a mobile phone. It blew my mind. But once I started to play it, or at least try to play it, yeah, that's where I just kind of didn't have much fun, because there's no buttons on a smartphone. When you go from playing GTA on a console and you're holding a controller in your hand that has control inputs, has buttons, every button you need to control that game. When you go from that to a smartphone and you're literally using your finger, a touch screen to control the game, I didn't quite enjoy that. No. You can buy controllers for smartphones to play smartphone games. Of course you can. That option is available to people. However, I don't find it a very attractive option at all. I don't like the idea of going out and buying a controller to like slot my phone into. I feel if I want to play, especially now, if I want to play Grand Theft Auto 3 on the go with traditional buttons, then I would play GTA Trilogy, the Definitive Edition, on Switch. And if I want to play Sonic, which by the way as well I downloaded, that wasn't as tricky to navigate, but it was still strange using my finger and a touchscreen to play Sonic. So yeah, that really kind of wasn't a pleasant experience either. I prefer to have buttons when I'm playing my games. Obviously, if it's a motion control game, if it's Wii Sports, if it's Samba de Amigo, Party Central on the Switch, even though you can choose button inputs in that game as well. But if it's a game that's heavily centered around motion controls, of course, it makes sense to move your phone, or if it uses touchscreen, to use your finger. But if it's a game like Grand Theft Auto and Sonic, I need to have buttons. I need to have a traditional controller. And I feel now, in this climate of the video game industry, if I want to play Sonic, like GTA, on the go, then I'll play it on Switch. Because I have this game, I have Sonic Origins Plus, which has all the classic Sonic games on the go, fully remastered, with fully integrated buttons. So apart from not having much of an attention span when it comes to mobile gaming, what puts me off with mobile gaming is just a lack of a traditional integrated button system. And I'm not attracted of the idea of going out and buying like a controller to attach my phone. It's not very attractive. It's not very appealing to me personally. Again, let me know what you think in the comment section below. So yes, for the fact that I have such a low attention span with mobile gaming, I spend pretty much all of my gaming time playing my games on console and handheld. And when I do, I prefer to have a traditional control system. I want to have a controller in my hand. I want to have buttons to press when I'm playing my games. So on that point, on the point on how I feel about mobile gaming, I'm not much, if any, of a mobile gamer. Now, let's discuss the price of these devices. And I'm going to tie this into gaming as well. Because, oh sorry, before I talk about the price, so as I mentioned, you can play games like console quality games like Death Stranding on these devices, the Apple iPhone 15 and the Apple iPhone 15 Pro. Which again, as I mentioned, is insane. But not for me, because I like to have a traditional button input when I'm playing my games, and I don't have much of an attention span when it comes to playing my games on my phone. I just prefer to sit in front of a TV screen or having a traditional, like, dedicated handheld in my hand, like the Switch, for example. It's just more comfortable. It just makes more sense. You know, you're holding a Switch in your hand and you have the Joy-Cons on each side. You've got every button you need to control the game. It makes sense. You know, there's a reason why Switch has sold so well. You know, it works. You know, it works, and it works for me. That's how I like to play my games. in the traditional sense with buttons. Again, if it's a motion controlled game or a touchscreen based game, it makes sense. But when you're playing games like Grand Theft Auto and Sonic, I need my buttons. I need my buttons. I need my buttons, okay? Okay, so these devices, gaming is going to be a big part of these devices because now you have console quality games. Also, Assassin's Creed Mirage and Resident Evil 4 Remake is coming to these devices. So these devices are going to be really gaming heavy. Big console games are coming. So on that note, let's talk about the price. So as I stated earlier, the 15 Pro starts at $999, basically a grand, because you're not going to get your cent back. I don't think anyone gives you a cent back anymore. That is, to state the obvious, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money, especially today, where there's a cost of living crisis. Now, I'm trying to make this video informative, and I'm simply sharing my honest thoughts on these devices in a very kind of like professional, kind of like mature way. Anyone who knows me, sometimes they know sometimes I don't hold back. But I just wanted to make this video a bit more relaxed, a bit more respectful, a bit more mature. But can I just say one thing? If you are watching this video right now, if you are listening to my words right now, and if you are going to pay $1,000 for these devices, and by the way, sorry, that was just the Pro. The Pro Max then is $1,200. If you are willing to pay $1,000 or $1,200 for a mobile phone, then you are not affected by the cost of living. You are financially well off. You are in no position to ever complain about the price of anything, because if you have that amount of money to spare and to spend on a mobile phone, then you honestly have a lot of money, and you're obviously not in financial trouble, and you shouldn't be complaining about the price of anything. But I would say the majority of people are feeling the pinch of the cost of living crisis. Your food is going up. Your petrol and diesel is going up. Your electricity is going up. Your rent is going up. Your utility bills are going up. Your broadband is the price of everything is going up. And for the majority of people, the majority of people are affected by this. So they are more conscious of the money they're spending, and they're more than likely not getting as much money as they once did because of everything going up. So for the majority of people, the thought of paying $1,000 or $1,200 for a phone is something that they would not be remotely considering. They wouldn't not have the money for that. Now, there is also, I believe, the option of an upgrade. I don't know the ins and outs of this now, so I'm not going to go too into this because I want to have facts whenever I'm talking. I would imagine that if you have a current iPhone 15, and it's in working condition, I would imagine that you could sort something out where you could trade that in and upgrade to the new models and get the new model at a higher discount or lower discount. So whatever you know what I mean, at a greater discount, which would obviously not leave that much of a dent on your wallet. But nonetheless, these are very, very, very costly devices. Now, when it comes to these prices in terms of the gaming market, let's look at the price of PS 5 when it launched. It launched at $400 and $500 dollars and euro. 400 for the optical disc drive removed, so digital only, and then 500 with the digital, the optical disc drive included. I think it was around the same for the Xbox One and the Nintendo Switch. I think it was like 370, something like that. No. I just want to say one thing. You could buy two PS5s for the price of one iPhone 15 Pro. That just puts things into perspective in terms of the price of just the iPhone 15 Pro. There's something I want to say. So I mentioned a few minutes ago that somebody who is willing to and has the money to buy these devices is not in any position to complain about the price of anything, is not in a position to say that they have financial issues. And on top of that, I would say that they're not in a position to complain about the price of a console, because you know what happens. You know what happens every single time somebody will complain about the price of a console. It usually happens with Nintendo. Because of the fact that Nintendo don't always directly compete with Sony and Microsoft in terms of raw specs, and as a result, their hardware is much more underpowered compared to PlayStation and Xbox. Whenever like Nintendo have a console that's like around 300, 350, 370, people react with, considering that they're underpowered, it's too costly. Completely ignoring the fact that the Switch is a hybrid console. Completely ignoring at the time the technology that was put into the Joy-Cons. Completely ignoring the fact that this is literally a portable device that's capable of running games like Mortal Kombat 11 in 60 frames per second, either on your TV or on the go. But anyway, we won't go too much into that. But the point that I'm going into is, if you're willing to pay $1,000 to $100 and $200 or euros for a phone to play Resident Evil 4 Remake, then that's costly. That's costly. I don't think you're in a position to complain about the price of anything. Personally, again, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, the memory of these devices is something I want to discuss as well. So that wasn't really how I just want to go back there a second. In terms of the price, so that's what I'm just saying that people don't really have a right to complain about the price of anything if they're willing to pay that. That's all I wanted to say. In terms of how I feel, first of all, I won't be getting this. I won't be getting these phones because I have a phone. I'm happy with the phone I have. It does what I want it to do, and I don't play hardly any games on my phone. as I mentioned, I play my games either on a console or a handheld, and with the Switch it's both. And so I got my PS5, I got my Switch. And I'd be looking towards the Switch 2, in terms of what's next for gaming for me. So I won't be getting these devices. So the price doesn't really affect me. But I certainly wouldn't be paying that price. I wouldn't be paying that price for like $1,000 is that's something I would like. I mean, that's going into car technology, obviously you won't get a car for $1,000 unless you're getting a really banged up used car, that you have to work on yourself or whatever else. But $1,000 for a phone, no, that's what I think. I would not be paying $1,000 for a phone, no matter what it can do. No, absolutely not. And as I said, I'm a gamer who plays my games on my consoles and handhelds, so not interested in playing my games on a phone. So no, as far as the prices, for me anyway, I won't be getting it. Okay, so memory. So the 15 Pro will have 128 gigabytes, and the Pro Max will have 256 gigabytes. I would say that memory will be going down very, very quickly, because if you're going to have Resident Evil 4 Remake on these phones, and Assassin's Creed Mirage, yeah, you're going to have to expect some pretty high, some pretty big downloads there. Okay, so I would say, me anyway, how I feel about that is I would feel like that memory is pretty much not, and you're probably going to have to get your own. You're probably going to have to get your own micro SD card of at least 500 gigabytes to get the most of your gaming experience if that's what you're interested in with these phones. The action button is literally one button, so that's something I want to talk about now. In terms of how I feel about that, you may have noticed a change in my tone once I started talking about how I feel about these devices. That's because I wanted to start off by giving you an informative explanation of what these devices are. Okay, so I was literally just reading an article from The Verge. This is how I feel now about these devices. How I feel and how you feel may not be the same, but that's called life. So that's why I'd like to know what you think in the comment section below. That's where you come in. But this is how I feel. I feel an action button is not enough, because you're not going to be able to play Resident Evil 4 Remake with an action button. How are you going to move Leon, move the camera, take out a weapon, aim it, shoot it, suplex, take out your inventory? How are you going to be able to do all of that with one action button? So as I mentioned earlier, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go and you're going to have to buy a controller, and you're going to be sticking a phone to the controller. Yeah, that's not something that appeals to me. I have RE4 Remake on my PS5. I'm waiting for the PSVR 2 update to play that game, and I have the controllers, I have the headset, I have the game, I have the console, I have everything I need to experience RE4 Remake in the best possible way, in my opinion, in VR. So I don't need it, first of all, and if I didn't have it, I certainly wouldn't be getting it on a mobile phone. But again, that's just me. Let me know what you think. What else? So in terms of these devices just don't attract me as a gamer. They don't attract me because I don't have much of an attention span, with mobile phone games, I prefer to have a traditional button input, one that is out of the box with the actual system, like Switch, for example. The price is just not very attractive at all. What attracts me, well, what's currently attracting me is my PS5, my Switch, and on the horizon, the Switch 2. Now, if the rumours, no, not rumours, if the reports are anything to go off, it's looking very, very exciting and promising for Switch 2. Now, I'm aware that they're only reports. Nothing has been official yet, but more and more people seem to be coming out and collaborating these reports, nonetheless. So the Switch 2 is looking very, very promising in terms of what it is. I mean, it's going to be a Switch 2, more than likely, so it's going to be successor to the Switch. So what we know already of the Switch is it is a hybrid console. So you get a traditional gaming experience when you hook it up to the TV, and you take it with you. You're getting a full handheld experience, and all the buttons are there. Every button you need to play the game is there. It's completely portable. It's got good battery life as well, and the screen is pretty good. So with the Switch 2, it's reported that it will have DLSS, which is like upscaling, that can really boost the game's visuals and performance. And that is why Nintendo were, apparently, according to these reports that were actually like backed up by a lot of people, Nintendo were running the Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo. And the visuals were comparable to PS5. That interests me because it's on a system that's an actual gaming system. It's going to have buttons, and it's going to have first-party games like Mario, Zelda, and Metroid, and Animal Crossing, and Smash Brothers, and Mario Kart, and so on and so forth. All of which will not be on Apple. I have RE4. I've actually lost interest in Assassin's Creed, to be quite honest with you. Death Stranding can fuck off. So there's just nothing about these Apple devices that attract me from the point of view of a gamer. I'm more interested in Switch 2. I'm far more interested in Switch 2. And I think that's what I'm going to leave it with. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I will see you next time.